What happens when you become truly aware? What if I told you that most people spend their entire lives in a state of functional unconsciousness, operating on autopilot while believing they're fully awake and aware? Your brain processes 11 million bits of sensory information per second, but you're only consciously aware of approximately 40 bits. The rest operates below your conscious threshold. Automatic patterns, unconscious reactions, habitual responses. What you call you is mostly unconscious programming running without your awareness or consent. This isn't New Age awakening nonsense. This is hard science. Neuroscientists at Yale, Harvard Medical School, and University College London have documented the profound neurological and psychological shifts that occur when people develop genuine self-awareness. They've identified measurable changes in brain activation patterns, emotional regulation, decision-making capacity, and even physical health markers. Ancient contemplative traditions from Buddhist mindfulness to Socratic self-examination to Stoic philosophy built entire systems around cultivating awareness. They call it enlightenment, awakening, or knowing thyself. Modern neuroscience reveals they were describing specific changes in brain function and consciousness that anyone can develop. True awareness isn't mystical. It's the systematic recognition of unconscious patterns, automatic behaviors, and hidden mental processes that normally operate in darkness. When you illuminate these processes, everything changes. I'm about to expose 10 profound transformations that occur when you develop genuine awareness. Each shift represents a specific change in how your brain processes experience, makes decisions, and relates to reality. Master these, and you're not just noticing more, you're operating from a fundamentally different level of consciousness. Your awareness is about to expand. Time to discover what that really means. Part 1. The automatic pattern recognition. You think you're making conscious choices. Neuroscience proves that approximately 95% of your behaviors, thoughts, and reactions are automatic unconscious patterns your brain runs without conscious input. Psychologist Benjamin Libet's famous experiments demonstrated that your brain initiates actions 300 to 500 milliseconds before you become consciously aware of the decision. Your consciousness is a narrator reporting on decisions already made, not the decision maker itself. This is technique number 1 out of 10, the automatic pattern recognition, for 30 consecutive days. Carry a small notebook. Every time you catch yourself in an automatic behavior, reaching for your phone, eating when not hungry, reacting emotionally, making a habitual choice, immediately write it down. Note the trigger, the automatic response, and what you were feeling. Review your list weekly, looking for recurring patterns. Aim to document at least 10 automatic patterns daily. Conscious awareness of automatic patterns is the first step toward changing them. Your brain runs these programs unconsciously until you shine the light of attention on them. You're building meta-awareness consciousness, observing itself, which creates choice where only automaticity existed. Before, studies on habit change show that awareness alone reduces automatic behavior frequency by 40%. Simply noticing creates the space for conscious choice. Start documenting automatic patterns and watch unconscious behaviors become conscious choices as awareness illuminates what previously operated in darkness. Part 2. The emotional transparency phenomenon. When awareness develops, emotions stop being mysterious forces that happen to you. You begin seeing them as biochemical and neurological processes with identifiable triggers and predictable patterns. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett's research on constructed emotion proves that emotions aren't universal reactions. They're predictions your brain makes based on past experience, current context, and bodily sensations. Awareness lets you see this construction process in real time. This is technique number 2 out of 10, the emotional transparency phenomenon. When you experience strong emotion, immediately pause and dissect it for exactly 90 seconds. Ask yourself these questions. What am I feeling in my body right now? What interpretation am I making about what happened? What past experience does this remind me of? What need or desire is being threatened or satisfied? Write or mentally note your observations. Practice this analysis for 50 consecutive emotional experiences. Emotional awareness activates your prefrontal cortex while observing your limbic system's activation. You're creating psychological distance between stimulus and response, the space where conscious choice exists. You're transforming from someone emotions happen to into someone who observes emotions happening. Mindfulness research shows that labeling emotions reduces amygdala activation by 50% awareness itself dampens emotional reactivity through prefrontal engagement. Start analyzing emotions in real time and watch emotional overwhelm transform into emotional information as awareness creates observational distance. Part 3. The thought stream. Detection. You believe you control your thoughts. Most people have never noticed that thoughts arise spontaneously from unconscious processes. You don't think thoughts, you observe thoughts that appear. Neuroscientist Sam Harris's work on consciousness reveals that thoughts emerge from unconscious neural activity, then appear in consciousness as if you generated them intentionally. The sense of being the author of your thoughts is an illusion created after the fact. This is technique number 3 out of 10, the thought stream detection. Sit for 10 minutes daily in a quiet space. Close your eyes and observe your thoughts as if watching a stream flow past. Don't engage with thoughts, analyze them, or try to control them. Simply notice them arising and passing. When you realize you've been lost in thought, no thinking, and then return to observation. Count how many times you get lost in thought versus successfully observing. Practice for 60 consecutive days. Observing thoughts as objects appearing in consciousness rather than identifying as the thinker creates metacognitive awareness. You're developing the capacity to see thinking as a process that happens, not something you are. This distinction is the foundation of all contemplative traditions. Advanced meditators show reduced activation in the brain's default mode network. They weaken identification with the thought stream through observation. Start observing thoughts as events and watch your relationship to thinking transform as you recognize you are awareness, not the thoughts appearing in awareness. Part 4. The reactive delay installation between stimulus and response. There's a gap. Most people never experience this gap because their reactions are so fast they appear instantaneous. Awareness expands this gap into conscious choice-making space. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl's famous insight, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response, describes what neuroscience now confirms. Awareness creates temporal buffering between perception and reaction. This is technique number 4 out of 10, the reactive delay installation. Whenever you feel triggered, someone criticizes you, something frustrates you, you receive bad news, implement a mandatory 10-second pause before responding. Breathe slowly 3 times. Notice your physical sensations and emotional impulses without acting on them. Only after 10 conscious seconds, choose your response. Practice this delay in 100 consecutive triggering situations over however many days it takes. The delay allows your prefrontal cortex to engage before your amygdala-driven reactions execute. Awareness of the urge to react without immediate reaction trains impulse control networks. You're installing a conscious buffer that transforms automatic reactions into chosen responses. Studies on anger management show that even brief delays significantly reduce aggressive reactions. The pause allows rational processing to occur. Start installing reactive delays and watch regrettable reactions decrease as awareness creates the space where conscious choice replaces unconscious reflex. Part 5. The body sensation attunement. You live primarily in your head, disconnected from body signals. True awareness requires integration of bodily sensation into conscious experience, what neuroscientists call interoceptive awareness. Neuroscientist A.D. Craig's research demonstrates that interoceptive awareness, conscious perception of internal body states, correlates with emotional intelligence, decision-making quality, and mental health. Your body knows things your thinking mind doesn't access. This is technique number 5 out of 10, the body sensation attunement. 3 times daily, morning, midday, and evening. Stop for 5 minutes and systematically scan your body. Notice sensations in your feet, legs, pelvis, abdomen, chest, back, arms, neck, and head. Don't change anything, just notice temperature, tension, comfort, discomfort, energy, or heaviness. Rate your overall body awareness on a 1 to 10 scale at the end of each scan. Practice for 45 consecutive days while tracking awareness score trends. Body scanning trains your insula, the brain region responsible for interoceptive awareness. Enhanced body awareness provides data your thinking mind can access, early stress signals, intuitive knowing, and emotional information encoded physically. You're integrating body and mind into unified conscious experience. People with strong interoceptive awareness show better emotional regulation and decision-making. Body wisdom supplements cognitive processing. Start daily body scanning and watch decision quality improve as you integrate body intelligence with mental awareness. Part 6. The assumption excavation process. You navigate life based on thousands of unconscious assumptions about how reality works, who you are, and what's possible. Awareness means recognizing these invisible beliefs that constrain your experience. Psychologist Albert Ellis's work on core beliefs demonstrates that unexamined assumptions, I must be liked, life should be fair, I'm not good enough, generate most psychological suffering. These beliefs operate unconsciously until awareness exposes them. This is technique number 6 out of 10, the assumption excavation process. When you experience strong emotional reactions, reverse engineer to the underlying assumption. Use this process. I feel X about why this means I believe Z about how things should be. Example, I feel angry about criticism. This means I believe I shouldn't be criticized. Criticism means I'm deficient. Document 50 different assumption discoveries over whatever time frame required. Review monthly to identify core belief patterns. Making unconscious assumptions conscious removes their power. Hidden beliefs shape experience invisibly. Exposed beliefs become negotiable interpretations rather than unquestionable truths. You're illuminating the invisible architecture of your psychological reality. Cognitive therapy works by exposing and examining automatic thoughts and core beliefs. Awareness itself is therapeutic. Start excavating hidden assumptions and watch rigid beliefs soften as awareness reveals their interpretations, not facts. Part 7. The narrative construction. Awareness. Your brain constantly generates stories about what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means. Awareness reveals that these narratives are constructions, not reality interpretations layered over raw experience. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga's split brain research revealed the brain's interpreter module, a system that generates explanatory narratives even when the actual causes of behavior are unknown. Your brain tells you convincing stories that often have little relation to actual causation. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the narrative construction. Awareness. For 40 consecutive days, practice separating raw observation from interpretation. When describing experiences to yourself or others, consciously distinguish what I observed is pure sensory data versus the story I'm telling about it is interpretation, meaning, causation. Do this for 10 experiences daily. Notice how differently reality looks when stripped of narrative overlay. Distinguishing observation from interpretation reveals how much of your experience is self-created through storytelling. Raw experience is actually quite simple. Complexity comes from interpretive layers. You're developing the capacity to see your mind's story-generating process, rather than being hypnotized by the stories. Contemplatives across traditions practice bare attention, perceiving, without interpretation as the gateway to seeing reality more clearly. Start separating observation from narrative and watch psychological suffering decrease as you recognize most distress comes from stories, not events. Part 8. The present moment. Anchoring. Your mind spends most of its time in past or future replaying memories, rehearsing conversations, anticipating scenarios. Present moment awareness is the foundation of all other awareness forms. Neuroscientist Amishija's research proves that mind-wandering psychological absence from present experience correlates with reduced well-being regardless of where your mind wanders to. Presence itself improves well-being independent of circumstances. This is technique number 8 out of 10, the present moment anchoring. Throughout your day, use sensory anchors to return to present moment awareness. Set random phone alarms 8 times daily. When the alarm sounds, immediately notice 5 things. 1 thing you see, 1 thing you hear, 1 thing you feel physically, 1 thing you smell or taste, and 1 breath sensation. This complete cycle takes 30 seconds. Practice for 70 consecutive days, never skipping a day. Sensory awareness pulls your attention out of mental time travel into immediate experience. Repeated practice trains your brain to maintain present moment awareness for longer periods. You're building the attentional muscle that keeps consciousness anchored in now, rather than lost in psychological time. Studies show that present moment awareness reduces anxiety and depression. Most psychological suffering occurs in mental past and future, not actual present. Start anchoring in present moment. Sensory awareness and watch mental peace increase as consciousness spends less time in psychological time travel. Part 9. The desire recognition matrix. You experience wants and needs as objective facts. Awareness reveals them as transient mental phenomena that arise, persist briefly, then dissolve whether satisfied or not. Buddhist psychology's detailed maps of craving and aversion describe what neuroscience now confirms. Desires are temporary neural activation patterns, not permanent needs. They feel urgent, but pass when left unacted upon. This is technique number 9 out of 10, the desire recognition matrix. When you experience a desire for food, entertainment, validation, comfort, anything, don't immediately act. Instead, observe the desire for 5 full minutes without satisfying or suppressing it. Notice, where do you feel it physically? How intense is it on a 1 to 10 scale? Does intensity fluctuate? What thoughts accompany it? After 5 minutes, reassess whether you still want to act on it. Practice with 30 different desires over whatever time frame required. Observing desires without immediate satisfaction reveals their temporary, constructed nature. Most desires pass or diminish when left unattended. You're developing the capacity to experience wanting, without being controlled by it creating. Choice between impulse and action. Research on urge surfing shows that cravings typically peak and subside within 15 minutes. When not acted upon, awareness allows riding out the wave. Start observing desires without immediate satisfaction and watch compulsive behavior decrease as awareness creates space between wanting and having. Part 10. The awareness cascade integration. That's something that will blow your mind. Each individual awareness practice creates cumulative effects that compound into comprehensive consciousness transformation. Awareness isn't linear, it cascades. Contemplative neuroscientist Richard Davidson's research demonstrates that meditation practices create changes across multiple brain systems simultaneously: attention, emotional regulation, self-referential processing, and interoceptive awareness all improve together. This is technique number 10 out of 10, the awareness cascade integration. After practicing the previous 9 techniques for 90 days, implement a comprehensive daily awareness practice combining elements from each. 5 minutes thought observation, 5 minutes body scanning, 5 minutes present moment anchoring, plus ongoing pattern documentation, emotional analysis, and reactive delays throughout the day. This integrated practice takes 15 focus minutes plus distributed awareness throughout waking hours. Maintained indefinitely as a permanent practice. Individual awareness practices synergize pattern recognition, enhances emotional awareness. Body attunement improves present moment capacity. Thought observation facilitates narrative recognition. You're building comprehensive conscious awareness that transforms how you experience every aspect of life. The practices integrate into a unified consciousness that operates from awareness rather than automaticity. Long-term, practitioners show permanent changes in brain structure and function awareness. Practices don't just create temporary states, they build lasting traits. Start integrating awareness practices comprehensively and watch consciousness itself transform as automatic functioning gives way to aware living. Closing these 10 transformations aren't separate insights, they're an integrated awakening of consciousness. From automatic functioning to aware presence, you're not adding knowledge to your existing self. You're recognizing the unconscious processes that have been running you. Automatic pattern recognition reveals hidden programming. Emotional transparency phenomenon demystifies feelings. Thought stream detection exposes thinking's constructed nature. Reactive delay installation creates response choice. Body sensation attunement integrates physical intelligence. Assumption excavation process surfaces invisible beliefs. Narrative construction awareness separates story from reality. Present moment anchoring in psychological time travel. Desire recognition matrix reveals impermanence of wanting. Awareness cascade integration synergizes all practices. Ancient wisdom traditions across cultures converged on awareness cultivation as the path to liberation. Buddhist mindfulness, Stoic attention, Socratic self-examination, contemplative prayer all targeted consciousness development. They discovered empirically what neuroscience now explains mechanistically. True awareness isn't comfortable. It reveals how much of your life you've been sleeping through. It exposes the automaticity you mistook for conscious choice. It dissolves comforting illusions about control and identity. But it also liberates you from unconscious suffering and opens possibilities that automatic functioning obscured. Your transformation doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts the moment you notice your next automatic pattern. It starts when you pause before your next reactive response. It starts when you observe your next thought arising from nothing. The version of you that lives with comprehensive awareness.